Okay, so this is going to be the last section we're going to cover on circles, which is called equations of circles. And there is a very special equation that you're going to use if you want to graph a circle. And so this is the equation of a circle, and it's the equation of circle in standard form, which is the one we're going to use. It's going to look very confusing at first because we have lots of letters, but it's actually not that complicated. Okay? What you need to remember is that h is going to be the x coordinate of the center, and k is going to be the y coordinate of the center. So the r stands for radius. This stands for the radius. And the h and the k are the x and y coordinates of the center. H is the x coordinate, k is the y coordinate of the center. Okay? So to find the radius, r is the radius, so you have to take the square root of the last number in your equation, or the number on the right hand side of the equation. So it looks a lot easier when we put numbers in. Okay? So if they give you an equation and they tell you that this is the equation of the circle, if you wish to determine what the radius of this circle is, you would have to take a look at the last number, the number on the right hand side, which over here in this case it's 9. So, and then you'd have to take the square root of that value, and the square root of 9 is 3, so that means that the radius of this circle is 3. Okay? So how would you determine the radius of this equation? Well, you'd go ahead, take the last number once again, which is 25, and then you would take the square root of 25, and you get that it's 5. Same thing for this equation. The number on the right-hand side is 4. If 4 is the radius squared, you would need to take the square root of 4 and find that the radius is 2. If the last number is 16, you take the square root of 16 and find that the radius is 4. Okay? Another piece of information you can pull out from the equation of the circle is where the center is. Okay? And like I said before, the x and y coordinates of the center are h and k. This means that we take the numbers being added or subtracted from x and y, we change their signs, and then we can write the ordered pair. So, in this example, x squared plus y squared equals 4. Nothing is being added or subtracted from x or y. So then that means that the center is at 0, 0. The center is 0, 0. Okay? So if you look at this example, if I ask you, where is the center? Well, the x coordinate of the center would be this number with the opposite sign, this number with the opposite sign. So the center of the circle is at 1, 1. And, oh, this is wrong. This should be 1, 1. There should be a correction there. So the center here is at 1, positive 1, positive 1. And the radius would be square root of 25, which is 5. So I write it here. The radius would be square root of 25. It's actually plus minus 5, but because we're talking distance, it's just going to be positive 5. So in this particular example, what would be the center Well, you take this number, that's going to be the x-coordinate of the center. You have to change the sign. Take this number, change the sign, that's the y-coordinate of the center. So the center is at positive 4, negative 1. So if you're using the equation to find the center of these circles, you have to look at this number, change the sign, that's the x-coordinate of the center. This number would be the y-coordinate of the center. The radius here would be square root of 25, which is 5. The center in this case, the next example, would be negative 1, positive 1. Remember to change the sign. The center here is positive 2, negative 1. Okay? If you wanted to know the radius of this equation here, the radius would be square root of 4, which is 2. Here the radius would be square root of 16, which is 4. Okay? So if we are given the center and the radius of a circle, we can use that information to write the equation of the circle. So the general form for the equation of the circle is this. If the center is at 5, 7, what you need to do is substitute 5 for h and substitute 7 for k. And then you need to square the radius. So you take 3 and you square it to get this part. So the equation would look like, the equation for a circle with these characteristics would look like x minus 5 squared plus y minus 7 squared. And 3x squared equals 9, so you can write it like that. If the center is at negative 2 and positive 8, you substitute negative 2 for h and 8 for k. Or you can just flip the sign. If here you have a negative, in the equation it's going to be positive. If this one is positive, here it's going to be negative. And then you square the radius. So now you have some examples. If the center is at 610 and the radius is 4, your equation is going to look like x minus 6, y minus 10 equals 2 squared, which is 4. For the next one, if the circle is at negative 3, positive 5, your equation would look like x plus 3, you got to change the sign, y minus 5, because this one was positive, this got to be negative, equals 7 squared, which is 49. For the third one, if the center is at negative 2, negative 9, your equation would look like x plus 2, because the x-coordinate of the center was negative, squared, plus y plus 9 squared equals 5 squared, which is 25. Somebody forgot this. Squared. Never forget to square the second part of the equation. Okay. So now these ones are for you to practice. You are going to go ahead and submit these on Kami. And then I am going to graph this one with you. This one, first thing we're going to do to graph this is find the center and the radius. So the center should be at positive 1, comma, negative 3. I know that because I changed the sign of this number and I changed the sign of this number. And the radius should be square root of 4, which is 2. So I'm going to place a point at the center, which has coordinates 1, negative 3. So that will be 1 to the right, 3 down, that one. And then from that, I am going to count 2 units up, 2 units down, 2 units to the right, and 2 units to the left. Oops, I went too many. Which means Now I have my 4 points, and I can just, to the best of my ability, to draw a circle with those characteristics. Okay, so that's it for equations of circles. We're gonna get some practice with this. See you next time. You have to finish and submit on Kami numbers 1 through 8. That is going to be your assignment for tonight. Okay, thanks. Have a great day.